What up, though? It's your brother Mike X. Another episode of 17 Winners. I'm doing something new, so I came on location because I felt like this would be a special interview, a special time for me to unveil this next level of the podcast because there's a lot of developments that's been happening behind the scenes. But in the meantime, in between time, I want to introduce my guest for the day, my guy. In the short time that I think we've known each other, we've become pretty close.
For sure.
And I've been learning a lot about this guy's background. Lansing native, Lansing, Michigan native, business owner, community member, does all type of supporting different artists and different community activist events and things like that. I guess with no further ado, welcome Henry Meyer to 17 Winners Podcast.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, my guy?
Happy to be here.
Yes, sir. So, man, it's been a long time coming, and I honestly don't even need the headphones for this one. We could just kick it.
All right.
I ain't got to make it as formal as a real podcast. But yeah, so we are now sitting in one of the hidden rooms of your dispensary that you own, Fortuo, right?
Yeah.
Here in Lansing, Michigan. So we'll definitely get a lot further into that because I want to definitely talk about that, getting into it because that's a big deal, especially being on this podcast because this podcast is for people with felonies, people who have been not just called felonies but been to the joint.
Right.
And having gone to the joint, I know damn well all the barriers there are for one of us to be able to open up such a business in any city, right?
Yeah.
So I definitely want to talk about that some, but I guess I want to kind of start off with, like, tell us a little bit about you, bro. Like, I mean, where you from, you know, your own follow-up introduction, I guess.
For sure. Well, I'm definitely from Lansing. The north side of Lansing is where I grew up. Okay. I went to all Lansing schools, graduated from Eastern High School in 2003, and started running into problems, you know, just legally right away. Got in some trouble. As a youngster, had to go to the Ingham County Youth Center for a while. Got out of there, was on probation, and man, I mean, you know, that's the story starts there. But definitely from Lansing. A little bit about me, you know, I'm a father first, right? For sure.
Yes,
I mean, my favorite thing is being a dad right now.
Yes, sir.
And it's after that probably just being, you know, a brother and a son. You know, family's real important to me. And then business, you know, right after
right behind that, yeah.
Right after
that
is business, because, you know, the stronger businessman I am, the stronger father I can be. You know, the stronger friend I can be. You know, and so I'm a giving person. You know, I got a lot of homies and friends that, you know, I help out. They help me out. It's a give, take. But I'm not, you know, I'm not a big social media guy. You know, I don't really have, you know, it kind of scares me. I think that shit is the devil a little bit.
I mean,
you know, it can be, but it's great for
I would
business.
say it's both. It's the devil and God.
It works good. It works good for business.
Good and bad.
It works good for business. You can meet a lot of cool people on there.
For sure.
Scared for my kids to go. You know, they're starting to be to that age where, you know. But what else? A little bit about me. 39 years old. You know.
Okay.
39 years old. I feel old as hell.
You ain't even crossed that 40.
I know, man. I'm scared. I ain't ready. I'm not ready for that shit yet, man. Because I feel like every year after 35, I felt it. Up to 35, I would get older and I wouldn't feel it. I could still do the same shit I could do yesterday. But after 35, man, them days got longer.
Man, listen.
You know,
I roll with the model wholesale. It's been a lot more focused since I said hi to 30. Young niggas, y'all can't hurt me. Watch and observe me and learn how to earn better. I burn cheddar. Hey, yeah, I'm on that tip.
Yeah,
like since 30, I have been a lot better of a person. Mind you, I didn't even get out the joint till after I was 30. So my whole stride since being home was in my 30s, going up to 40.
Wow.
So I guess, like, talk to me a little bit about that. Tell me about your journey, I guess, since, well, no, because that's skipping a lot. So, all right, you started in after high school, you started getting into trouble and stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, I started smoking weed. I mean, that was the beginning. I started smoking weed, and then I started wanting to sell weed because weed was expensive, and I didn't really have a bunch of money, so I got me a couple jobs. I was always a hard worker. I mean, I always had. When I was young, I always kept 2-3 jobs.
Okay.
I worked. At one point, I had 3 jobs.
So that right there kills the myth that weed kills your ambition. You were still ambitious.
Oh yeah.
You were still working.
Yeah, I just wanted more. I just wanted more than what I had, you know. And I didn't want to steal it. I didn't want to get it wrong. I didn't want to take it from anybody else. I wanted to earn it, you know. And I was born and raised in Lansing, but every weekend growing up, I would go to Shepherd, Elma, up north by Mount Pleasant.
Okay.
My grandpa, my dad's dad, owned a big farm up there, a dairy farm.
Ooh,
and we'd have to go up there every weekend. We'd have to work. And so, chop wood, milk the cows, pick up shit. I mean, anything that needed to be done on a farm, that's what we was there for. Baling hay in the summer. It was hot. It was hot work. It was hard work.
Yes, sir.
And it had to happen every day, right? Like the cows got to get milked every day. And when you watch your grandpa not be able to take vacations, he might wake up, diarrhea, throwing up, maybe he just don't feel good.
Still got to go tend to that farm.
He still got to go out there and milk them cows, man. They don't milk themselves, right? And so I got to watch that, and I think it bred into what I got going on now. Consistency, work ethic, not giving up on the day just because you're a little tired. You got that list. You still got a couple things you got to get done, man. Take a breather. If you got to hit a little nap, pull over real quick. Do what you got to do, man. But you still got some shit. You still got some shit to do, so you better get back to work.
Yes,
and I try never to feel sorry for myself, because I know my ancestors worked harder than I did. You could think you worked hard today, but you was in an air-conditioned car all day, or you was in an air-conditioned office all day. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, it don't matter what you was doing. Oh, you was in the grow room on your hands and knees for a little bit. Oh, okay, well, at least you wasn't in cow shit.
No, for sure.
And so sure. I just got that mindset of it really doesn't matter what you're doing. Nobody gives a fuck. Right, nobody cares. It's just smile and work harder.
Yeah.
Smile and work harder. And so, and I think I learned that when I was a youngster. But as I got older, I got into some shit because I wanted to smoke weed. My parents was against it, so I was rebellious. 15, 16 years old, and I got a job at Jiffy Lube.
Okay.
And I was I earned my way up to assistant manager real quick. So all I would really do is vacuum out the cars and try to sell services. So boom. Guy came in, I've seen him a couple times. I was vacuuming out his car, and it smelled like weed in there, real, real bad. And I said something to him, something like, man, it smells good in here or something. And he was like, come in. And so I did. I stepped in there real quick, and this motherfucker pulled out a big old bag of weed, showed it to me, and he was like, you think you can do anything with that? And I said, yeah, I think I can. And he said, well, he gave me a business card. He was a DJ from Detroit.
Okay.
And he gave me a business card. He said, hit me up when you get out of work. So I did hit him up when I got to work. I didn't have a car at the time. He came up there. We met, and he put me on. He put me on. Took me to my apartment, put me on, and it was crazy from there.
Now, okay, for what is it? The statute of limitations sake.
Yeah.
Around how old were you?
When I met him, I was 17 years old.
Okay, so you still teenage years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Long time ago.
Okay. All right. So.
I met him, and he was the plug.
Yeah.
He was the plug for real, and he could supply me with anything I wanted. So I was at 17 years old now, and I had all these high school kids that wanted
weed too, yeah.
And now I had the plug. I had the cheapest weed. It was fire. It was from Detroit. It was from black guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was fire. What I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
And he was getting it straight from the Vatos. He was getting it straight from the Mexicans. And so eventually, I started selling more weed than he could get for me.
For real.
You know what I mean? Like, I started putting him on with being able to buy more.
Right.
But I learned a lot in that experience because, I was scared as fuck going down there with, $200,000, and I owed this guy, and then I would leave and I'd owe him a bunch of money. He knew everything about me, he knew about everything. And that shit was crazy. At 17, 18, 19, now we're getting into my 19s and 20s where, I was making so much money, I didn't know what to do with it, so we started buying real estate.
Okay.
after that, some of this shit we just can't talk about. But that plug died, and then now I started meeting the Mexicans.
Yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
really plugged.
right, yeah. And then that plug didn't necessarily die off, but people started demanding better weed. Okay. People started
times was changing. It was like
people started demanding just better weed. And so we started getting we found a plug in Canada.
Okay.
And we were getting.
Okay, that was during the time when the Gans and stuff was coming from Canada.
We were getting the BC buds, they were calling it.
Okay.
Beasters.
Beasters.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We would flip the beaster. We'd get the beasters for $900, $1,200, and we'd flip them for $200 to $2,400. It was crazy markup. Crazy markup. You don't get markup like that nowadays on weed. The government's making more money off weed than shops are. They're making 16%. There's a lot of shops that are operating at 10, 12% right now.
Really?
Yeah, because the markup's just not there. There's too many dispensaries. Too many dispensaries are cutting costs and cutting corners, cheating. You still got a lot of criminals in the dispensary game.
Yeah, that's why I prefaced this conversation at the beginning with there's gonna be some more conversation about the dispensary world because that's interesting in and of itself. I want to start doing episodes strictly about free to weed and the campaign for the freedom of marijuana because mind you, we only about halfway through the states. Right. In legality.
Well, the feds are going to legalize it.
For sure.
Soon. They have to. I thought the last president was going to do it. I said that when I was like, whoever wins the presidency is going to, definitely legalize it. And then, Joe Biden won and he didn't do it.
He didn't, yeah.
But he is changing his scheduling. I mean, he's setting it up to.
Oh yeah, the scheduling did change. It came from Schedule A, huh?
He's getting it. Yeah, he's getting it ready for the next guy, whether it's him or maybe somebody else. But it's got to be, and I'm scared about it getting federally legalized because the taxes are going to go up, right? But it's going to change a lot of the things that we can do.
Now the feds will add their tax.
They're definitely going to add their tax to it, 100%. But it'll also change a lot of with the way they're changing the scheduling right now. We're going to be able to file taxes differently as a dispensary. We couldn't write off any employment taxes. We couldn't write off cost of goods. It was cheating. They were cheating us. The government was literally cheating us. Right. No other industry in the world, you can't write off your fucking payroll taxes. Are you kidding me? I paid these motherfuckers. I paid them. I paid taxes on their payroll, and you won't let me write off what I paid them?
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's
like unconstitutional crazy.
That's mafia.
Yeah.
That's mafia.
Yeah.
There ain't no other word to it. That's racketeering.
That's definitely.
You are racketeering in the whole industry and getting away with it. For sure. 100%.
Gotcha.
So he opened the door to change that. And so that's cool.
That's cool. Okay.
But if they federally legalize it, it'll change even more, better for the business side of it. But it's going to add a tax.
Yes, sir.
And it's going to add regulation.
It's going to add some more regulation.
And it's going to add the type of regulation I'm worried about is the type of regulation that is the only type of regulation that a corporation can manage, right? Because they're going to say you got to use this crazy chemical or you got to use this $100,000 machine to spray that chemical. Well, a guy like me can't afford that $100,000 machine, so.
Right, that's essentially what Berner had been fighting against when it comes to the big companies taking over the weed industry, like the
everybody's got to worry about it. Everybody better worry about it.
Yeah.
And when I told people that we don't want, when I told all my drug dealer friends when I was young that we don't want weed to be legalized, oh yeah, I can't wait. No, you should wait. You better fucking wait. So I went to prison in 2008.
Okay.
And I was selling weed for $4,000 a pound, and I couldn't grow enough. I mean, I could not grow enough. As much as I could grow, I could take with a day it was dry and get it going for $4,000. Okay. I come home 4 years later, 3.5 years later, and the pounds are like $3,000. A year later, they're $2,500. 2 years later, they're $2,000. Today,
800.
12 years later, they're 8 to 1,000. So, you tell me, do we want the feds in there? Because what's going to happen is, what's already happened is people with more money than you and me
are going to outdo us.
Not the guy. So you got you and me, and then you got these guys who got a little bit more money than you, and then you got these guys.
Yeah.
But these guys can't get involved yet because it's not federally
Federally
regulated.
legal.
Walmart, Philip Morris, the guys that make all the tobacco, they can't get in it yet.
Right.
They're
right.
fucking
They're
waiting.
They're
fucking waiting.
chopping at the bit.
They're waiting. Those deals have already been signed.
Yep.
Joe Biden's lining
Because all
his
of those
pockets.
big equipment things that you were talking about that they have to have
They got
are
'em.
already in place.
They got 'em.
Been there.
Been there.
For sure.
So, as soon as that happens, that's what I'm worried about, because we can only go down so low in the price of pounds to where there's no value in it no more, right? Like, you can only go down so much, and if you go down so much, yeah, you might be able to get a pound for $500, but that's all you can get now because guys like me quit, and so Walmart doesn't give a fuck that your weed doesn't smoke good.
Right.
Walmart doesn't give a fuck that you don't get as high as you used to. Walmart actually likes that because that means that you're
gotta
back
keep
at
buying
Walmart
more.
again, buying that $50 ounce that only costed them $1 to grow it.
Damn.
You know, and so that's what they're trying to do. Like, I might be being dramatic. In the last 12 years, the price of marijuana has went from $4,000 to $1,000.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so I went to prison right when it got state legalized.
So let's go back there. Let's go back to 08. You
Yeah.
say you went to prison in 08. So
Yeah.
how did we get there? I mean, because we left off on the plug. You haven't.
Well, so what happened was I found the plug in Canada, and then he got killed. And so now I got all these people that want all this high product marijuana, high quality marijuana. I got hundreds and hundreds of pounds of weed that people want to buy, and I ain't got it no more. So I started growing weed. And slowly but surely, after $300,000 to $400,000 losses, because we were just losing so much money. It was so expensive back then to grow weed. It's way cheaper now. A light used to cost $1,200 and that was the cheapest, shittiest, high pressure sodium, HPS, 1,000 watts. I mean, you're burning. It's hot as fuck in the room. You're burning AC. I mean, it was crazy. Now you can get an LED for $400, a badass LED for $400. So it's a way, it used to cost us $100,000 to set up a basement grow.
Yeah.
That I could probably set up now for 10. You see what I'm saying? So back then it was huge losses that we were taking. Huge loss. We had to pay the rent everywhere. Like, we were just not knowing what we was doing.
All right. There's a
Now
learning curve.
you can hire consultants. I mean,
Yes,
these
you can.
fucking people now, bro, that get into the game and think they're so fucking cool, bro. They could have never did it in the basement, ever. That's gonna be my new slogan, I think. You couldn't have did it in the
Couldn't
basement.
have did it in the basement.
You couldn't have did it in the basement. Because they couldn't have.
Best slogan is coined on 17 Windows Podcast. For the record, you couldn't have did it in the basement.
No, hell no. You couldn't get there. You couldn't do it in the basement, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
And so we started that way.
Now, mind you,
out of
you're
necessity.
growing, so it's got to be some level of legality for the grow stores and everybody to be selling y'all.
No, it was illegal to grow the weed, 100%.
Okay.
When I started growing the weed.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Really?
There was
You
no
just shooting
there
that
was no
shot.
medical
So
law.
you're taking these big ass losses and
That's
shooting
why the
shots.
pounds were $4,000. That's why I was trying to tell people the only value we got is because you're too scared to do it, but I'm not. So it's $4,000 a pound, bitch. Buy it or not. But when everybody can do it and nobody's scared, slowly but surely the value of that product goes down.
For sure. That makes sense.
It does. So I didn't want it to be legalized, but it did, and here we are. But out of necessity, I started growing weed. I always do the best work when my back's against the wall. You know what I'm saying?
Pressure.
You put me into a fucking corner, and you better watch out, because some shit's about to happen.
Yes, sir.
And so out of necessity, I had all these people chomping at the bit for these pounds of fucking high quality weed, and I just kept growing terrible fucking weed. I just kept growing terrible, but it was different. It wasn't mids. It wasn't Mexican weed. You know what I'm saying? It was different. So they would buy it, but I'd have to give them a good deal on it. But eventually, slowly but surely, my product started getting better and better.
Eventually, that learning curve
Better.
is.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, because I couldn't hire somebody. Motherfuckers was robbing people like me back in the day.
Yeah.
Now there's not enough value in it too. It's safer. It's a lot safer
It's
to grow weed now.
Because
Because nobody wants to bust in your house for the tent you got, because
Yeah,
maybe
I
it's
remember.
a pound that's $800. But if they can get $4,000 off of that tent, now they might bust in your door
Yeah.
for $4,000.
For sure.
You see what I'm saying? They're not going to bust you in your door for $800
$800
that they don't know for sure is there
Yeah.
or not. You see what I'm saying, bro? And so that's what it's the conundrum of, do you want it valuable and dangerous, or do you want it safe and sound? And anybody can do it because there's not much market in it. But when you're doing it like a Walmart where you're selling 1,000 pounds a day, you're making money.
You're making money.
You know, but how can I compete if I'm only selling 2? But if those pounds was $4,000 and I had $2,000 markup on them, now I can get away with selling 2 pounds a day of high quality marijuana.
So legalization shook the game up for real.
Legalization destroyed the game.
Damn. And it's crazy because thinking from the customer side, it's like damn near the best thing you could imagine now.
Look at California. Okay? I want you to pay attention to California. California, this year, Michigan took over.
I was just about to mention that.
Of all states in the United States of marijuana.
Yes, sir.
California's led that since they've ever legalized, right?
Yes,
they never lost, right? They were the first to legalize.
And
so
I've been
obviously
campaigning that we got the best weed.
Okay, well, I'm not going to say we got better weed than California.
No.
Hell, definitely not on this podcast. Fortunately. Hell no. I'm not finna. No, it's not true.
Because
California got the best weed.
Hobo got that vibe.
California got the best weed, but California's black market got shook up real bad when it got legalized. But they had some motherfuckers that put their feet in the ground and didn't give up. And now it is so taxed over there. This county tax, and they've put a tax on it, and this fucking organization put a tax on it. Their sales have plummeted. Because guess where? You think California hippies stopped smoking weed?
No.
You think all of a sudden all those motherfuckers in California just was like, you know what, price of weed's too high, I'm not buying weed no more.
No. I don't
No, man, they called Tyler. The guy they used to buy their weed from that was the hippie. And Tyler, guess what? He's been shipping his marijuana all over the United States for the last 10 years. Fuck yeah, he's still got 10 pounds.
Here.
Yep. But he's just been shipping his weed. And that's why the price of marijuana in the state of Michigan is so fucking cheap. Again, because you got these motherfuckers in California shipping pounds here. Because they can't sell it there. But now...
So when they federally legalize it, we gonna be dead. And
I don't know what's gonna happen.
Because right
I don't
now,
want
while
it to
it's
be.
not federally legal, you still got some states where
Stay
taking
the fuck
that
out.
risk is
Stay the
still-
fuck out of it as long as you can.
Yeah.
Stay the fuck out of it as long as you can. Now, I hope the feds stay the fuck out of it.
Got you.
Terrible.
All right, so you go to the joint. How old were you when you
I
went?
get hemmed up. I go to the joint. Well, how old was I? That's 12 years ago. No, actually, shit. I got out in 2012. I went in 2008. So that's 16 years ago. I'm 39. What is that, 23? 22?
22, 23.
I was 22, 23, yeah.
Yeah, shit, you were a little bit mature. You had kids yet?
I had my son. My son was born 6 months before I went to prison.
Damn.
Yeah. He was born like 4 days after I went, or no, I'm sorry. He was born 6 months before I got indicted.
Damn.
I hadn't even really seen him too much. His mom was on some bullshit. That's a whole fucking other story.
Man, so walk me through that process, because you went fed, right? You ain't go state.
No, yeah.
You got indicted and had to go fed, so...
And I ran. I went to Mexico.
Oh, for real?
When the houses got raided, I was driving up there. I was pulling up to do my work, to do my watering and shit like that. I'm pulling up and I'm seeing all these motherfucking cop cars. I'm seeing motherfuckers with the fucking DEA vest on.
Like
the
on
fucking
Belly when
mask
they pull
on,
up the
and
Lennox crib.
I'm like,
oh,
damn,
they getting it.
What the fuck happened, bro? I called my lawyer, and my lawyer's like, you should probably get out of town for a little bit. I'll make some calls and figure out what's going on. Well, a motherfucker told me to get out of town. I didn't know what the fuck to do. Shit, I was like, God damn, they about to go to this place. They about to find this spot. I had spots all over the place. I didn't know who had told on me. You know what I'm saying? I went to Mexico. Shit, I owned a house down there, so
Straight up.
Mm-hmm. So me and my girl went to Mexico. I didn't know what they was all gonna find.
Right.
But at this point, I couldn't stop it. You know what I'm saying? It was too late.
It was already happening.
Whatever they knew.
They knew.
They knew, and they was gonna go.
Yeah.
And so like a week later, I called my lawyer, and I'm like, I'm talking to him, and he's like, where you been? I've been trying to get a hold of you.
Like, bro, you said get out of town, bro.
I said, you told me to get out of town. I'm in Mexico. He's like, I meant like Grand Rapids, bro.
Like, go get a room for a day or two.
I'm like, fuck. I'm like, man, I don't know, man. So now I'm there, and he's like, well, he's talking to me, and in my mind, I had already talked to my girl, my baby mom. She wasn't my baby mom at the time. I had a daughter. I had my son with somebody else.
Okay.
She was my girl at the time, and I had been with her I had a baby on her when I was in a relationship with her. We was off for a little bit, and I had a fucking baby. But she took me back, and we was together at that point. Okay. And I had been with her for a long time at that time, like 8 years or something like that.
Okay.
I got off subject. What the hell was I?
Talking about being in Mexico, talking to your lawyer.
So my lawyer's like, I had already talked to my baby moms, my girl at the time, and I'm like, if they try to do anything more than like 12 to 15 years, if they're not offering some shit, I'm not going back. I'm not going back. We'll start something here. I'll get some money sent here for us. We'll start over right here. We already own the fucking career.
You thought you was cooked.
I didn't want to
know what they knew.
I had money. You know what I'm saying? I was doing all right, bro. I had made some good investments. Like I could. Sometimes I regret not just telling them, you know what, fuck y'all. I don't give a fuck what you gonna give me. I ain't coming back. I don't want to come back. I want to be a free motherfucking man in America. I can't do what the fuck I want, and I still feel like that. America's fucking most bullshit.
For sure.
You're freer in a lot of countries more than you are in America. And anybody that thinks any different is because they ain't fucking traveled the world. So I have traveled the world, and I am the fuck out of America as soon as I can. When I retire, I'm retiring the fuck out of America. I'll always have my businesses here. Business is good in America, and it's cool. But the way I like to live my life is I like to do what I want to do as long as I ain't hurt nobody else.
Right.
And so they don't let me do that in America.
Yeah. I feel that. I feel that. So yeah.
So my lawyer's like, well, I don't know yet. So I'm staying. I'm like, well, I'm staying here. I ain't coming back until you tell me something different on paper. It took about I don't know. I think we stayed down there for like 90 days or something like that. But finally, he was like, it's gonna be less than 10 for sure. Okay. So I'm like, all right, that's what's up. I'm coming back.
90 days, though. Like, no, I ain't coming until I know something.
Yeah, I mean, I was comfortable there. I knew all the neighbors. We was in the mountains, man. It was cool, Like, I knew one of my plugs was not too far. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so I'm straight.
I was good, and I did, and so we came back. They arrested me at the airport, and then I was in custody ever since. They never let me go. Like a lot of times
you at the airport coming back in.
Yeah, a lot of
times. Did you fly back into Lansing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A lot of times they'll let you go and then get you on bail, and then you can turn yourself into prison. Mm-hmm. I'm not, I'm like, because they kept saying, well, you fucking went to Mexico.
Bro, that was crazy.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, but I came back. Like, what the fuck? I could have stayed here. You didn't know where I was at, motherfucker. You had no idea where I was at. I came back for this shit. How the fuck is you about to?
But you got the potential to do it again.
That's fair. Hey, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, they were like, we got your ass. We ain't letting you
go. You gonna finish this up.
So whatever.
So you was remanded. You had to stay in.
Yeah.
All right.
And so that's where I got my fucking diesel treatment. And the ConAir. That was terrible. ConAir was scary, man. I ain't even gonna hold you up, man. Now I like flying.
Cause you on a plane shackled and shit, right?
Well, so yeah, you not only are you shackled, your arms are shackled together to your waist, and then those go down to your ankles. Mm-hmm. Your fucking ankle ones are shackled to the ground, man.
Yeah.
To the ground, bro. Like if the plane goes down, bro, you're dead. Down. All the criminals are dying. The police are jumping out. They got parachutes and shit. We dead. They're not coming in and unlocking us, bro. How are you gonna put us on a fucking cylinder up in the air and shackle us to the motherfucker, man? Nuts. That's got to be against my right.
Nuts.
Why not just drive us around, man?
But you know that on the bus to the UP, it's the same way. The UP bus got the shackled locks at the bottom of the...
Yeah, but it's a bus.
Yeah, but you ever... I know you've been to the UP. Man, driving across the Mackinac, bro, for 5 miles. Bro, and on the bus, you can see out of the window, as you're looking out the window, you can see how the bridge has, like, where you can see the water down there. Yeah. Man, that was a scare. I'm shackled with my feet, arms, to somebody else. Same way as ConAir, except for I'm on this bus. But man, I can't imagine in the air.
Well, I didn't like it because there's a few fucked up. There's a few fucked up situations, but you know, I'm just a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just a drug dealer, you know. And on ConAir, those are all motherfuckers that's unscented. We all in the same boat. Like, we don't know what's going on with nobody, right? Like, you could be sitting next to a bad motherfucking crazy motherfucker. Yeah. You don't know who you're sitting next to. Yeah. You could be sitting next to a child molester. You just don't know. I didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like that shit. Because once you get to the joint, you show your paperwork, and now whoever you sit next to, you know. You know what I'm saying? You know what the fuck is they going on. You know?
Got you.
And so you know if they're a bad motherfucker. Not that you don't hang out with them, but you know.
But you know. At least
you know that motherfucker might be trying to kill him, or he might be trying to kill somebody at any time. You know, at least you know that.
Yes, sir.
And you know he's a child molester, so stay the fuck away from him. You know what I'm saying? You don't fuck with him.
No,
you know,
right.
You know what I mean? And if you do fuck with him, you're doing something mean to him. And if you're not, then just stay the fuck away from him, right? Like,
mean to
but if you in that fucking ConAir, bro, you looking next to you, bro, you like, man, what the fuck, man? What you?
They find my body.
I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that. And the other thing I didn't like about it was, and then we had to get diesel treatment where we was on the bus. That sucked. The bus sucked.
What is diesel treatment?
The bus.
Oh, get on the
bus. They call that bus.
Okay.
And then we did some van, you know. So I had to the van was really the worst.
Yeah.
The van was actually the worst for me because it was longer, and I had to go to the bathroom. Yeah, I had to go to the bathroom though, bro. And they had to stop. Like, they made me wait for an hour, and I'm like, bro, fuck it. I'm about to blow this bitch down in here. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You know, I had to go to the bathroom. So they got to pull me over, bro, to the gas station. One of the marshals stay in the car with everybody else. One of the marshals got to come with me with another inmate attached to me into the motherfucking thing. He got to go to the stall. He had to go to
sit in the stall next to you
while I took a shit. He had to shackle, and I'm shackled. We're both shackled with the marshal holding us into the gas station in public.
That was the bogus.
That was bogus,
shit
man.
In the world.
That was bogus. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget how I felt about that. Oh, man. I thought he was gonna take us to like a rest stop or so. I didn't know. I didn't know what I was thinking. I didn't know
why not go to a rest stop or something. Why would you take me to a gas
I did that when we kept rolling and rolling. I'm like, they just waiting to the next rest stop. But then we passed the rest stop, and I'm like, yeah, guys, I gotta go to the fucking bathroom. I wasn't playing, you know, like. And then they had to stop at a gas station, and that was what their protocol was.
Huh, man. Yeah.
So that sucked.
Yeah, for sure.
That was one of the suckiest things.
For sure.
Yeah, but boom, went to prison, got out of prison.
So wait a minute, while we're in prison though, because I'm kind of interested in that. I don't know much. I know from like friends and stuff, but I didn't go to federal prison. I did all state time. So from what I heard, it's a lot more segregated than state prison is here in Michigan.
So again, I'm the same way. I've never been to state prison, so I don't know how to compare, right?
Gotcha.
So I'm just going to tell you what it was for me, how I visualized it.
Yeah.
But I can't compare it to state prison, just like you can't compare it to federal prison.
Yes,
but
sir.
when I was there, it was definitely segregated, you know. But you know, like when I ate lunch, I ate lunch with the white guys, you know. But everybody has their niche in there, right? Like, if you wanted a store shit, you know, if it was 8 o'clock at night and you can't go to the commissary and you didn't have this, you didn't have that, but you had some stamps, the black guys got the stores, bro. So, you know, like, there might be a white guy with a store here and there, but it don't last long because, you know, somebody's got a bigger store or a better store or a connection with the police is gonna tell. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, that's how it happens in prison. Nobody likes to talk about it, but the baddest guys tell, especially when they get to prison. Okay?
Yeah, they do.
I mean, I hate to break it to everybody, but you know,
no,
the biggest, baddest motherfuckers.
The baddest motherfuckers in there below.
They're telling, bro.
Right.
That's why they're the biggest, baddest, because they got connects with the police. 9 times out of 10. Okay, you don't last being the biggest, baddest guy by using brute force long, because you're either gonna break the law too much where they can't turn a blind eye, or somebody's gonna fucking kill you.
Yep.
But if you got a contact and you got to connect on the other side, you can last a lot longer.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sure.
So the guys that are smart are fucking telling.
Yeah, they are.
So I mean, the guys that are really making the money in the the tobacco.
That's why I tell the youngins the streets is fake, man.
The streets is fake, bro.
Telling, bro. They're doing all the shit that they tell you not to do.
Streets is fake as fuck.
Fucked up as a crash dummy.
If I can teach anybody young from anything from what I'm talking about right now, it's the streets is fake as fuck.
The streets is fake as fuck.
They're not there for you.
That shit ain't that.
It ain't that.
But yeah, keep going.
So everybody's got their niche. You want porn. It's typically the white guys that got the porn, right? So the black guys gotta come and talk to us. The Mexicans gotta come talk to us, right? But are we hanging out in the yard playing fucking soccer with each other? No, man. The white guys got it at this time. The Mexicans got it at this time. We was segregated.
Yeah.
There was when I went to the first prison, it was there was more fights and more lockdowns and stuff. I was there for a year. And then I went to the medium, and that was a medium high. And then I went to the medium low, and that wasn't bad. Everybody there was either not doing much time, on their last leg, or was there for some bullshit anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Like they shouldn't even been there. It was politicians and fucking bullshit.
Let me ask you this, because in the state joint, my experience in the state joint, I feel like for the most part, it's not everybody's situation. But for the most part, your bit kind of goes according to how you move.
Yeah.
Is it like that, would you say, in the feds? Like, so no matter how wild the joint is, you kind of get yourself into shit or keep yourself away from shit, right?
I would agree with that 100%. There's always those freak things,
random
where,
things that happen.
Somebody might just be in a bad mood and he didn't have nothing to do with you, but you weren't the right race, and the person that did wrong him ain't around, so he can't do anything to him. That's gonna happen. Yeah, that's gonna happen.
That happens, yeah.
But not a lot. And if you're handling yourself in prison the right way, and what I mean by that is, I didn't go anywhere by myself. You know what I'm saying? I was always with somebody. I didn't just walk the fucking halls by myself. Not because I did anything to deserve getting fucked up, but you're in a place where people fuck people up, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I watched somebody's guts get fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if he deserved it or not. Who fucking knows? Who am I to know that?
Might have been a mistake.
I don't fucking know, bro. Yeah. But I'm not just gonna set myself up for that,
right.
And so I think you got to hold yourself how you want to be, looked at. Like if you fucking step on somebody's shoe, say sorry and excuse me, right?
That's a big thing in prison.
If you bump somebody,
culture shock out here.
Like, I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna bump. And, prisons are tight. They're overcrowded.
But it's a lot of respect.
You gotta say excuse me.
It's a lot of respect.
Look at acknowledge
them. Eye to eye, though. You
acknowledge
gotta
that it was a mistake.
I
didn't mean to bump into you. I don't
sure.
even know you. We're looking. You don't know me. I don't know you. Excuse me. My bad. And keep it moving. 9 times out of 10, that guy's either gonna say nothing and keep it moving, or he's gonna say excuse me too.
Yep.
And he's gonna bump. He's gonna keep it moving.
Respect is a big thing in the joint.
It's when you do that and you look up and you give him the stink face and you're like, bro, we bumped into each other. Like, who's to say who bumped into who? Let's just both excuse each other and get the fuck on.
Yeah.
And I think that's big. That's a big thing in all the prisons I was in.
For sure.
You sit at the wrong table on accident and you fucking
shit, my bad.
Man, get the fuck up.
And like because I've been the new guy in the joint where I'm like fresh in prison overall and shit. I don't know how this works.
Right.
And I've also been the seasoned guy who, man, motherfuckers know how to handle me or how to act around me. Right. And I still am the same respectful level on the, oh shit, my bad. I didn't realize I was at y'all table. Let me catch up with my crowd. Yeah. Like, it's just that level of respect. Shit, to this day, people tell me, bro, you ain't got to call me sir. I ain't calling you sir because you're special.
Right.
It's a habit. I have a respectful tone about myself. Yeah. Yeah. So.
But it wasn't segregated to where, like, I wasn't on any gang shit when I was in there whatsoever. At all. I hung out with some guys that were in some gang. Some of the guys were in some of the gangs. But I wasn't in it. I didn't do any activity. But they just knew that I wasn't a rat and I wasn't a pedophile. Mm-hmm. So. They kept it kosher with me. They made sure that everybody knew that I wasn't a rat and I wasn't a pedophile. And, if I would have been getting my ass beaten in the yards, somebody would have stopped.
How big is that, though, the fact that you're not a rat and you're not a pedophile? You did the paperwork party when you got there, right?
Mm-hmm. Everywhere you went, you had to.
You got to do the paperwork.
You don't have to, but if you don't, they're going to assume you're a pedophile or a rat. And they're not going to...
Treat you accordingly?
Not necessarily. They're going to treat you a little... They might just ignore you. But, again, if I'm on the... I played racquetball and fucking handball with Mexicans, black guys, like just me and them. We're just chilling. I might have one of my partners about to go next or something, right? But we're not just hanging out in some big fucking clique,
Yeah.
But rest assured, the white guys are watching the white guys, just like the black guys are watching their black guys, and just like the vatos are watching the vatos, okay? If shit starts going down over here at the handball tournament and they see a fight between a black guy and a white guy, and it's just a fair, regular fight, the blacks and the white guys are gonna fucking be looking. But if it's me or somebody that's got paperwork, they might go over there and make sure that the white guy doesn't get stabbed, jumped, unfairly beat up. But if it's a pedophile or a rat or somebody that doesn't have any paperwork, they're just going to look at the scuffle and check. Oh, yeah, he's not verified. And they're just going to get back to doing whatever they do. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's the difference, right? That's the difference. I'm not saying they're going to come over there and fuck that guy up, but they're going to make sure that you're not taking out no fucking lock and a sock on me. They're going to make sure that if I don't have a lock and a sock, they're not going to let you use a lock and a sock on me. They're just not going to let it happen because I'm not a rat and I'm not a pedophile. But are they going to go out there and try to catch a whole other case and kill you for me? No, I'm not in their game. They're just going to make sure that you don't wrongfully do some fucked up shit to me on their watch because that's going to look bad.
It keeps balance.
It's going to look bad for the race in general in that prison.
Yeah.
And people don't get it. They ain't been there. But that's the thing, that's a real thing. Like, you got to control that. But, like I said, I hung out and played handball with one of my good friends to this day. He lives in Detroit. I met him in there, you know what I'm saying? Like, because you got those last three digits. 039 is Detroit, 040 is like Lansing and Grand Rapids.
Oh, really?
So when you're in there and they call your name off and they read those last three digits, if somebody's from Detroit hanging out in the library,
here.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so it was segregated, but not crazy. In the higher prisons you get up, it gets crazier.
Well, so you told me about the transport situation, period, right? Being as one of the worst things happened to you.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Give me, I guess, one of the best things that happened while you was in there. Was there anything good that you could pull out of that?
Well, yeah, I mean, you learn a lot about yourself in there. You learn a lot about how much you can take, how much disrespect you can take, how much, indecency you can take. I mean, when you're in a dorm, those were the worst prisons, were the dorms, where you got 600 people.
Oh, yeah, it's an open setting.
Open setting.
Yeah.
There's no privacy. I mean, you really start to respect being alone. Like, I struggle still now, and I always have, I don't like to be alone. I don't like to be alone. I like to have a girl or my kids or something. Being at the crib just by myself ain't my favorite, because my mind just starts, I don't know. It's just not my favorite thing.
Gotcha.
Prison helped me understand that it's important, though, to be okay.
It's necessary.
It's necessary to be okay with it.
Be able to sit with yourself.
Yeah. I mean, because at the end of the day, if you can't sit with yourself, how the fuck do you expect somebody else to sit with you? You know what I'm saying? Like.
So what about, because, I agree with that 100%, right? But I also know that there's a lot of opportunity to escape that while you're in that motherfucker. And I say that because the people who, are escaping that still are doing a whole lot of other shit on their yard. And get stuck on their yard. I don't know if you was in there long enough, because you did, 3.5?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you were in there long enough to get mentally stuck in there. But have you ever recognized?
First, I met people in there that I would be worried about them getting out.
Yeah.
They're institutionalized. I mean, that's the only word that you can really use to describe it. Like, and then I know one of my buddies just got out on my birthday in April. He did. When I met him, he was doing a 7-year bid. And then he got out about the same time I did and fucked off and got in some trouble and did a 12-year bid up to 10 or 10-year bid again. And he just got out. and he's just fucking. We call it shot out, burnout. You know, like that. You know, like he's just he doesn't think like I don't know, man. I don't even know how to explain it. He thinks like he's still in prison.
Yeah.
He thinks like he's still in prison. He doesn't understand how to be free. I've seen it. That shit's fucked up. It's scary to see.
Yeah, for sure.
You know
I mean, that's essentially where I started the podcast and started working in reentries type of work because I remember like a lot of the barriers for myself, and I consider myself the what is it? Not the rule, but the exception to the rule. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm pretty well adjusted, right? But I even remember, and I tell this story often about, I damn near had a nervous breakdown over my first tire flat. You know what I'm saying? Just I was working the job. I had been home maybe a year. You know, learned to manage my finances, so I didn't really have money, and my check wasn't coming for like 2 days, and I would come out of work 5 a.m. I had a flat tire, and I damn near freaked out. I can't damn near. I freaked out. I was in my car, not knowing what to do. Right. I happened to be working with my little brother. My little brother was in the car with me, and if it were not for him, I don't even know how I would have recovered from there. Right. But he was like, "Bro, you don't got a spare?" I'm like, "Man, what? Like spare what?"
Right.
Like, man, a spare tire. Like your car should come with a spare. It's a nice car. I had a Lexus truck. Like your car should come with a spare. So I was about 2 years out when I got my Lexus truck. So he was like, "Look, let's pull over, look and see if you got a spare." And it was literally just that changed the whole scenario. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been gone 15 years. Well, I ain't changed the tire in over 15 years. I left at 18.
Right.
So it ain't like I was taking care of responsibilities before I left the street.
Yeah.
So it was like that shit damn near shook my whole foundation if it were not for my little brother.
Yeah.
So I can imagine, and not only being able to imagine, but like from my own experience, I've seen how hard that transition can be when you've been gone a long time.
Yeah.
Cell phones being out and shit.
I see it a lot with my employees at the fish fry. You know, I hire guys that did a lot of fucking time. Well, I got a dishwasher right now. He did 32 fucking years, man. Damn. And I tell you what, man, he's one of my favorite employees, man. He smiles when he sees me. He's always in a good mood. "Hey, Henry, how you doing?" You know,
he happy to be here.
Shit, he just happy to be in this motherfucker, man. He just happy to be in this motherfucker, bro. He ain't drinking. He ain't getting high. He's on probation. He's just, but he's burnt out, man.
Yeah, he ain't burned.
He's
but he's just happy to be here.
He's always in a good mood when I see him. He's always working when I see him. He's not fucking around on his phone. You know, he's not in that spoiled fucking American fucking mentality, bro. He's like, I don't know, man. He's one of my best employees. He's one of my favoriteest people at work. He's just my dishwasher.
Hey, it's funny you say that, bro, because a couple days ago, you know, we was experiencing a heat wave here in Lansing, right? So it was a hot ass day, like 90 something. I wear a suit and tie for my job.
Right.
So I'm dressed up, I'm fully dressed, and I stopped over and saw my mom for a minute. And she was like, "Baby, my poor baby be hot as hell, fully suited and dressed all day, right?" And it was funny to me because it does get a little hot, right?
Right.
But as I was pulling off, I called her back. I FaceTimed her back. I said, "Yeah, you know what? You're right, it gets a little hot sometimes, but man, it ain't nowhere near as hot as working in no factory. Or working on, or walking no damn prison yard."
I was just gonna say.
You know what I'm saying? Like on the hot day like this
hot
in
as
the
that
prison yard.
Shit,
my car got AC. I'm riding
we
AC.
didn't have no
all
AC
day.
in the motherfucking joint where I was there. I did a lot of my time in Pennsylvania. We didn't have no motherfucking AC.
You feel me?
Up in
So
there.
like, hell no. Or whatever I'm experiencing out here, it'd be like, man, I'm just happy to be here.
And I think it's important that you keep that. I'm not saying keep that mentality, right? Because that'd be wrong. But like, if you forget what it felt like when you were down, you'll forget what it took to get you there.
For sure.
You know, like, if you remember what it felt when you was fucked off, you'll start thinking about some of those decisions that led up to that, and you'll be like, oh fuck, this kind of what I'm about to do right now kind of sounds like this one right here that I did right before I landed in that motherfucker.
Yeah.
So
I don't think that's the move.
Let me
refigure that. Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
We'll come back to that in a little bit.
Yes, sir.
If you just forgot about what it felt like to shit next to another guy, almost holding his fucking hand.
No, for real.
While you had to wipe your ass.
Oh, for real.
If you forget that and you don't talk about it, you don't think about it, even if you just talk about it up here in your own fucking head, you will forget it.
Yes, sir.
And then you will forget what it took to get you there.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, and I talk, I meet girls and shit, man, and I talk about, something will come up. I was just talking about a perfect example. You're in prison, you get earphones, you get a little radio that you carry around so that you can watch the TVs and they're not loud and bothering everybody. People that ain't been to prison don't understand it, but they was like that in the States, right?
No, but I've heard about it.
In the
States, we all get our own TVs.
Oh yeah, we don't get our own TVs.
We gotta buy them.
Yeah,
but we get our own TV.
No, we don't get our own shit.
Yeah, y'all go to the day room.
We go to the day room, and then each TV, there'll be like, I don't know, each prison's different, right? Each day room's different, but there'll be a string of TVs up there, and they'll all be 92.7, 93.4, like radio stations that don't have any radio stations on them. They'll have that frequency on the volume of that TV. So you just find your fucking little radio that you got, your personal radio, put it on 93.4 because that's TV 2, 93.4. Put your ear pads in, and bam, you're watching TV. You know what I'm saying? Without all the ruckus, right?
Gotcha.
But I learned when I was fresh, right in there. I didn't know what the fuck. He gave me this thing. He had 2 earbuds. I popped both earbuds in. I'm watching.
Oh yeah, you slipping.
I'm chilling. I'm watching TV. I'm fucking chilling. But that white guy, the guy that checked my shit, comes right up to me. I think I watched it for like a day or two like that. I didn't get very long. He came right up to me and he goes, "Hey man, you need to take one of them out." I'm like, "What the fuck is you talking about?" I take them both out. And I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, because you just watching TV. Like, what do you even mean, dog?
And he's like, "You need to take one of them out. You don't go anywhere in this place without one of them out." Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right, you don't argue with that guy, right?
You don't.
I'm like, all right. But then I asked him. I said, "Why?" Man, I'm like, why? Am I missing something? He's like, "Well, what if one of our homeboys is back there getting stabbed? You wouldn't even know it. What if you were about to get stabbed and somebody was running at you and I seen it and I could scream your name and you could turn the fuck around and at least defend yourself before he stuck you right in your fucking neck." And when he said that type of shit to me, I never put 2 earbuds in again. Never in my whole life again. I mean, I never will, and I'll never allow my kids to do it. I'll never allow people I love to do it, ever. Never, ever, ever. Like
similar to walking around with house shoes on or slippers.
It won't happen.
We don't play that.
It won't happen. It just won't fucking. You won't catch me.
My kids wear Crocs to this day for that shit.
You won't catch me slipping like that.
Like that, ever.
And so once you learn something like that, you don't forget it. Yeah. And those are the little things that I talk about. She was just talking about, one of my girls was just talking about ear pads or something, earbuds or something. And she sent me a picture with them both in her thing, and I said her something back. I said, "Now what if somebody was behind you about to fuck you up right now? You wouldn't even know it." And she's like, "You're so crazy. You're not in prison anymore, And I didn't, I just moved on, But in my head, I'm like, you're not. You're right. You're right. I'm not in prison anymore.
It's not like that.
I'm not in prison anymore. But it's like people are still crazy.
Yeah.
And like.
And some of those precautions that we learned in prison can help you out here.
Yeah, I'm not losing them. And so,
sure.
but strangers or friends of mine definitely notice it about like that. That's one thing that stuck with me. Yeah. I still think sometimes, not like I'm in prison, but the lessons that I learned in prison, I definitely parlay them in real life right now.
For sure. That's crazy that you said that about one of the guys that had been down coming and checking you about your earbud, right? Because that is what I do with the 17 winners thing. That's my vision, is basically those old heads, because that's how I made it through. Mm-hmm. It was older guys that saw something in me and would pull me, "Hey, young dog, don't do that." That was
stupid.
Hey, yeah. And it wasn't a soft way of doing it.
Because it's those guys, because they're not scared to tell you that.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It takes guys that with a little gumption.
That's not afraid to talk to the youth. That's how you get to the youth.
Yeah.
So since you got there, man, let's talk about your journey home, man, because I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Yeah.
I know you're a busy man, but so talk to me about. We just talked about some of the things that you bring home and you still carry with you. Mm-hmm. How was your transition since you hadn't been gone this long? What was like your first 5 days like? What was your first week home like?
Well,
did you party? Did you?
I was
isolate?
at the first 5 days home from prison. I was at a halfway house.
Oh yeah, because feds don't just let you.
So I'll talk about that real quick because it was a mix, right? So it wasn't like this storybook movie, like you see in prison or like you see in the movies where a guy gets out of prison, he leaves the yard, his family comes gets him, he hugs him, and then he goes home and he doesn't have to check into probation for a few days.
Right.
No, it wasn't like that for me. Right.
Okay.
My dad and my brother came and picked me up from Pennsylvania prison, and Loretto, PA, and drove me all the way. We had an hour extra than what GPS told us to be there. You know what I'm saying? I think it was like a 7-hour trip. We had like 8 hours to get there. Period. After that, you're a wanted fucking U.S. Marshal fugitive.
Damn.
And they tell you that right when you leave, and they tell your parents that. They tell you the people that picked you up that like
you're
gonna get aided and abetted if you don't get them there in 8 fucking hours.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. And the U.S. Marshals don't fucking play.
No, they don't play.
They don't play at all, bro. They don't take no fucking shenanigan bullshit. For real, they don't fuck with around, man. So bam, they picked me up. We stopped for eating a couple times, go to the bathroom, and then they dropped me off at the halfway house. So I didn't get to see my kids, kid at that time. I didn't get to see them. I didn't get to see my mom. I just got dropped off at the halfway house. Then shortly after that, that was in Battle Creek, which was a lot closer for everything. So then I couldn't go home for 90 days.
90 days?
Yep. And they told me if I got a job, I had 6 months in the halfway house. I was supposed to do 6 months in the halfway house. But they said, you can get out early if you get a job, or sometimes after 90 days you can get out. So I couldn't get a job because why the fuck am I going to get a job in Battle Creek?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be able to get me there. I can't walk there.
Don't make sense.
Because there wasn't a lot of jobs around where the fucking halfway house was at. There was a couple factories, but they didn't hire felons, so it's like, get the fuck out of here. And so I just kind of hung out there, honestly, for 90 days. Like we would get time off, like my parents could come out to come grab me to get something. No, not a whole weekend. I just
like a few hours off the day.
Yeah, like a few hours. Like they could come get you for lunch or something, or take you to an interview. You know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So, but at that time, my baby mom's was being a fucking bitch, and she wouldn't let me see my kid that whole time. So I didn't see my kid. I seen him like 2 times before I went to prison, and then I seen him I didn't see him for a whole year after I got out of prison. Yeah, fighting it, just trying to get my custody back. I lost it pretty much while I was in prison.
Yeah.
So that's some bullshit. That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story. Trust me, I feel you.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. Okay, so you get out the halfway house.
Get out the halfway house.
90 days, and then finally.
During this whole time, though, and this is probably a deeper story, but during this whole time, a month before I got out of prison to go to the halfway house, we was structuring the Eastside fish fry. The fish fry was being struck. Like I was maneuvering it from prison through my dad and my brother and my cousins. We were ready to open like the day I got out of the
halfway house. For real?
What I'm saying? Yeah.
That's hard. That's hard.
So that was helpful.
Hell yeah.
To keep me motivated, because halfway house was tough, man. I'll be honest with you. 4 or 5 people while I was there just said, you know what, I can't
go back to
come get me, motherfucker. I'm not doing this. They treat you like a little kid, man.
Oh yeah, because you got to deal with the person that's like the attendant over the place.
It's terrible, man. The case managers, it's like, bro, we just got out of prison. It's supposed to be like one of the worst places to be at. And here, you're fucking telling us we got to ask you to go to the bathroom. Like, we can't. I mean, it's just the rules and the intensity of. It's just crazy. It was terrible. Halfway house was terrible.
Wow.
I couldn't have did the same amount of time in the halfway house as I did in prison. I couldn't have, bro. I would have lost my shit.
Damn.
I would have lost my fucking shit, bro.
Damn.
For sure.
Glad I ain't have to experience that.
Yeah.
I came straight out.
But so when I got out, luckily I had something to keep me focused, you know.
You was already working on the fish.
I was
fry.
rolling, man, because
So
I
you
knew
already
myself.
had your location on Kazoo?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Okay.
owned that the whole time I was in prison.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the feds didn't take that one. I owned that the whole time I was in prison.
Gotcha.
It was a
Gotcha.
dollar store. I didn't own the dollar store. I just owned the building.
That's what I was just about to ask. So you just had the building.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it was a dollar store operating out of the building while
And
you was gone?
yeah, they went out of business like 8 months before I got out.
Oh, so perfect.
And my
time.
dad, you know, immediately started saying, like, what the fuck you gonna do with that property? You know, like right now it's just costing your fucking bank account money.
Yeah.
And he was the one
Paying it.
I mean, I'm paying it, but
Right, but I mean,
he's watching the money.
handling the business.
He's watching the money go
Right.
out on a property that's just sitting there. So he's like, you know, you should think about what the fuck you gonna do, or I'm gonna put it up for sale if you want me to. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm gonna fix it up and either rent it out or sell it when I get home and to give me something to do. And we just kind of wildly got that idea about the fucking restaurant and put that shit together. You know?
Man, so what? Damn, because you came up with the full restaurant just while you was in the joint. Huh?
And my cousins.
And coming home.
Yeah.
Man, that's dope. And how long y'all been operating now?
12 years.
12 years?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I know you. I've watched a couple of news stories, and of course, since I know you personally, I kind of know a little bit about it. But like, tell, I guess, my listening audience who may or may not know about Eastside Fish Fry about it.
So yeah, Eastside Fish Fry opened 12 years ago, right when I got out of prison. We were slow as fuck for about 2 years. We were losing a lot of money. I was working there every day because after halfway house, I was on house arrest for another 6 months, so I couldn't go anywhere but work. So I was.
I'm gonna be at my business.
I was
every
working
day.
12 hours, if not more, every day because
yeah.
that's the only way I could get out the crib, you know, legitimately. So it helped me. It helped the fish fry to this day. You know, that dedication, that hard work there for a long time. Just there's still customers that come in that remember me sitting there. Yeah. But there was days when I just played PlayStation, man. You know, we just didn't have the customers. I didn't have no money. The feds had took all my money. I didn't have a bunch of money to do advertising and shit like that. But we slowly but surely upped our advertising and word of mouth on the streets, you know, helped out a lot. The community helped out a lot. We started doing little community events where we could just provide food and we didn't have to put no money up. We just had to provide food. Next thing you know, all those people are eating that food and like, God damn, this fucking chicken's good.
Hell yeah.
And then boom, you know, and so that worked out a lot for us. And then we got our EBT license a year and a half in, and that helped out a lot because now we were able to touch a lot more of the community with our food that maybe couldn't afford it or didn't have a way to access it to be, you know, before that.
Yes, sir.
So the EBT card helped out a lot, and that was when we could accept it from everybody. Anybody that had an EBT card, we could take it. And that we did that. That was good for like 5 years, and we were doing really well. Fish fry was doing well. Everything was going well. The feds came in and said, "You can't take EBT no more. You a restaurant, and restaurants can't take EBT." And they're right. That is the law. So, bam, like that day, they fucking took my shit.
No more EBT.
Yeah, it was like $300,000 a year in income, in revenue that just got ripped out of there in one day. That hurt a lot. We started losing money again. And that was in 2016. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew that I was spending a lot of my own fucking money for payroll and shit like that. About 6 months in, I was going broke. I was going broke. And the restaurant, the diners, drive-ins, and dives got a hold of me. And they said they was going to come out and do a show, you know, come out and fucking put me on national television. And so they did that in 2017, and shit took off.
Okay.
Shit took off. Life's changing, for sure. It allowed us to hire, you know, we had like 10 people when they came. I got 24 employees right now.
Really?
You know, so overnight it allowed us to hire like 8. I think I hired 8 people. Like as soon as the show broke, I had to. We were that busy. I had to.
Really?
Yeah. I remodeled the kitchen, pretty much with all the money I had left. I remodeled the kitchen. I expanded the hood, and you know, I'm glad I did it. I mean, I believed in myself, you know, and I made it fucking happen.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, with the team that I got at the Fish Fry though, really, I mean, you know some of them because you've been there.
For sure.
You know, it's a
I'm
wide,
locked in,
it's a wide, diverse, unit.
That it is.
You know, there's white guys, there's black guys, there's Mexican guys, there's big guys, there's little guys, there's girls. You know, there's just everything. We got kids working for us. 18, 16-year-old kids working for us. We got felons working for us.
Talk a little bit about that because that's a big deal.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal, especially probably for some of the listeners here that have been through it.
For sure.
So I made it a pact, a personal pact of mine. Pretty much when I realized that I was going to be able to hire people at a good level. Right when I started getting that EBT money, and our business started taking off. I started realizing like you're gonna have to hire some 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people, and I started doing interviews, and I got on the fancy fucking internet shit to get to interviews my first time, and the people came. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, but the first people that I came off like the regular stuff, like Indeed, I think it was, or something fancy. I didn't like them. I didn't like their vibes. I didn't like how they talked. Nothing. So then the next time I got to hiring, I just put a sign on the front door, hiring. And I got people from the hood. I got community members that live nearby, neighborhood people, customers.
The people who actually eat there.
And we started hiring them. And then I had 6 or 7 employees. Some of them were, some felons and stuff. I wasn't focused on that yet, right? But it started kicking in my head like, the business is growing. The business is growing. You just hired 4 or 5 people. You're gonna have to hire 4 or 5 people in a year. For sure. Again, if everything keeps going like this.
Yes, sir.
I started remembering how it felt not being able to get a job in Battle Creek. I'm a hard-working motherfucker. Man.
Right. You've been working since you was a teen.
It ain't too many times I'm in a room where I think that somebody's outworking me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck what it is. Physical labor, mental labor, paperwork.
I'm doing my
I really don't care. I'm gonna work just as hard as anybody, in that motherfucking room.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? I forgot what I was fucking talking. Smoked some weed before this fucking interview. The fuck was I talking about right before that?
We was talking about you focusing on felons, hiring felons.
All right, sorry. So when I started realizing that I couldn't get a job when I first got out of prison, and I'm about to be hiring motherfuckers, it just kind of kicked in my head like, why not try to hire felons? Why not try to hire motherfuckers that are having a hard time getting a job like you?
Yeah.
And so my first instinct was to call probation officers. So I called Ingham County Parole and Probation Office, and I just told them. I said, I'm Henry Meyer. I own the fucking Eastside Fish Fry. I'm looking for some motherfuckers that are on probation that need a job. That's exactly what I told them. I got a couple calls that fucking afternoon.
Yeah.
A couple of them were child molesters. I don't hire them. And then a couple of them was non-violent, just regular motherfuckers. And I hired them that day. And ever since then, they get a hold of me monthly, every other month or so, and they say, hey, we got, this probation officer called me, hey, I got this guy getting out. He did this amount of time. He's got this experience. I think he'd be good for you. They'll send him my way, and 9 times out of 10, I'm going to hire him.
Yes, sir.
Now, fast forward, we've been on the news about hiring felons. We've been in the newspaper about it. Everybody knows. And it's a beautiful thing because I get DMs and I get, messages all the time. A cousin, like a cousin.
I'm just thinking that like if somebody's cousin needs
cousin will hit me up and be like, hey, my cousin's getting out of prison in a month. I really want to make sure he's got his right foot. I've heard that you do this. I've heard that you do that. Can I give him, can I get in contact with you when he gets out? Man, that right there makes all that shit worth it because I'm giving that guy, I don't even know his fucking name, bro. And I'm giving him a little bit of hope at that last minute to where he might be stressed out. Somebody's going to bump into his shoe. Bam, he's going to punch him. Now he's got another 6 months. Instead, he's like, man, I got my cousin Maria told me that this motherfucker gonna give me a job. I get out in 27 days, like, you know, and maybe he's bragging about it in there, and maybe other people are like, man, I can do that too, you know,
Yes,
like
sir.
it's just
the
a little bit of
energy,
kindness, a little bit of hope. It makes it that despair, the feeling of despair, just not having anything to give a fuck about. Sucks,
That's
man.
what we get.
That's a terrible feeling, man. And,
sure.
and in prison, I felt that a lot.
For sure.
I felt just the feeling of just complete despair of,
I don't
you know,
even want to wake up to
I'm not worthy of shit. I'm not shit. Why did I make these mistakes? Why are you such a dumbass?
facts.
Just really just, you know, doubting yourself.
I'm better
man.
than this. I'm
Yeah.
smarter than this. How
Man.
did I do this? Or
Fuck,
all
man.
of that.
That shit fucking wears on you, man.
Yeah.
But
Until
if you got
decide
if you got a
to-
foundation though, like, you know, like if you can go through your letters and you can see a letter from your mom, you're feeling really down, you know. So, you know, I might pull out a letter from my mom where it's nothing but kindness, nothing but hope,
Man, I had like
You know,
3 or 4 favorite ones.
nothing
that I
but
go
hope
to.
in there. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
No judgments, no hatred, no animosity, no old drama. Just
I love you. I miss
That's
you,
it.
And I believe in you.
some people don't got that.
Facts.
Some people don't got that, and that's fucked up. But if you can be that for somebody, I think you should take that opportunity to be. I think it pays a dividend. Not only just like for us, it pays a dividend in business, man. My guys and gals that I've given that opportunity to and chances to, they pay me back in lots of ways that other motherfuckers just could never.
Yes,
The respect they give me, the way that they don't let motherfuckers talk down about me when I'm not around. They'll tell the motherfucker.
real loyalty.
They'll tell the motherfucker, you better shut the fuck up, bro, because whatever you do, the shit you saying right now ain't true.
Yeah.
That ain't true. Henry didn't say that. Henry wouldn't do that. They got my back, man.
Yeah.
Because they got my back because I had theirs.
Yes, sir.
I had theirs when shit was down for them.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
you know what I mean? Like it just pays back, and then so that's business, but it pays back karma.
Yeah.
Karma's a real thing.
Karma's a
I
real
believe
thing.
in karma. I believe that there's motherfuckers looking around up there and fucking making shit happen sometimes, you know, good or bad. I take all the good karma I can get, brother.
For sure.
You know, I take all the good karma I can get. And so if that means that I give this guy a chance and he fucks me off, there's just as good a chance that if I hire this college graduate, he's going to fuck me off too.
So it ain't like it's people.
I'd rather just give this guy a chance because
Yeah.
there's this guy, this college graduate
He'll be
here.
all right either way.
He'll be all right. And he knows that. When he comes to work and somebody tells
And
him to pull his pants up,
sometimes arrogant
or
about
where's
that.
your hat at, or whatever the fuck, he's just like, man, I'd go get a job like this anywhere. This guy can't, bro.
He can't.
So if you just say, hey, man, you know, can you wear a hat? You know, like that's policy. I bet he's gonna have his fucking hat on tomorrow
Yes, sir.
because he don't want to lose his fucking job.
Yes, sir.
He can't go get 6 other jobs. That motherfucker
He can.
probably can.
Yes, sir.
And if he can't, he thinks he can.
He
You
feels
know what I'm saying?
confident
Yeah,
like
he
can.
walking around
He
like
don't
that.
have that thing over his head saying, man, shit, this might be my one shot. And I got to make the most of this.
So it's all of that, man. I mean, I don't do it just for one or the other. I do it because I think it's the right thing to do because I can, and it's good for business at the end of the day.
Yes, sir. Now, before we wrap up, man, I just want you to talk a little bit about Fortuo.
Yep.
Fast forward, we done been in Eastside Fish Fry for 12 years, but man, that weed thing, that weed bug wouldn't let you go, huh?
No, man. I mean, my calling is green, weed, man. I mean, I love growing it. I love being in the facility and in the greenhouse. I just love being around plants. It's just my thing.
Yes, sir.
Been my thing since I was young. I've just been waiting for them to give me a rule book, and they finally gave me one.
Yes,
I can read it, I can see it, I can perceive it, and I can adjust
See
to it,
myself in there.
and I can do it. And so Fortuo is it's Fortuo.
Yeah,
It's
how you
like
come up with that?
it's like a play. It's like a play on the name, like a
420.
fancy, like 420, but 420.
I like that.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was fly.
When you get it, it's cool, right?
Yeah.
But but it takes away. A
You're
lot of
looking
people
at
are like, well, how do you?
420,
And then when I
420.
give people my email, they always want to put an R in it, like a Forturo. I'm like, no man, it's 420.
420.
And then they're like, oh, 420.
420. Yes, sir. That's exactly how it happened to me.
And I'll be like, yep, that's it. So my business partner came up with that actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That
I
was
liked
dope.
it. I liked it, so we rolled with it.
That was dope. That was dope.
So it's a micro dispensary. We've been here. We've been operating. We've been open for about 3 weeks.
Okay.
But we've been working on it and building it out for about 18 months. I've been involved in it for about 14 of those months. My business partner had a great idea, great plan, great vision. Just ran out of a little bit of money. Didn't understand how much it was going to cost and how much time it was going to take. The running cost of this situation sucked. Being who I was in the black market criminal, I would have been making money off of this place in 2 months. You know what I'm saying? I would have loaded this bitch with plants immediately. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But the Fed, not the Fed, but the state and the city government wouldn't let me do that. I had to do everything by the book. Yes, everything had to be perfect before we could start. I would have blew this bitch out. Yes, you know what I'm saying? I would have blew this motherfucker out.
Business calls. You got to handle some business. And we almost done anyway, though. You good. So,
but if this would have been a black market grow, I would have blew this motherfucker out immediately.
Yeah.
Within 2 months, we'd have been cash flowing. Promise you. But instead, we were fucking losing, man. And I'm not talking losing like a couple $100, bro, like we was at the fish fry for those first few years. I'm talking $6-7 grand a month in running costs for a year. And right out my ass.
Damn.
But we're doing better now. We're bringing in money now. We're open, but we're a micro dispensary, and so what that means is we have 3 grow rooms here in the building that we're going to flower. We're gonna grow all our own marijuana, and then we get on the other side of the building. We have the retail situation. So we got the showroom where customers can come in, they can smell our weed, they can look at the weed. And they can see the prices in the menu. They can buy whatever they want, and they can take it right out of here from a fresh in-house grow, which sets us apart from, I think, just a typical dispensary, to where a typical dispensary is gonna buy whatever weed is best for business.
Right.
They're not necessarily gonna buy the best quality weed. It might be good, but they probably could have got something a little bit different. If it would have, but it might not, the profit margin might not would have been there. So instead of them getting the best shit, they got the shit that works best for their profit margin. And that's just business. There's nothing wrong with that. But the fact that we can grow our own product allows us to have the highest quality product at a fair price. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that. The growth is doing well right now. Just, if anybody's around Lansing, definitely come check us out.
Yeah, because they're right in the hood. They're on South Side.
Yeah.
So a lot of my viewers on YouTube be like local, and my listeners are kind of more abroad.
Okay.
So like anybody that's seeing this, a matter of fact, I'm gonna be back here. I'm gonna come back here and get some strands from them or something and do like a taste test or something.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Let y'all see what it's really like. But we're right over here on Martin Luther King. Right up near the corner Jolly where the Soldins and the gas station are, right in that white building, man. Come check out Fortuo.
Definitely.
I'm really proud of you, Henry, man, and I appreciate you coming on the show and kicking it with me, telling your story, bro.
For sure.
And I'll likely come check on you in the future, man, and do something else.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, man. Love.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate y'all for watching 17 Winners and listening to 17 Winners podcast. And y'all know what it is, man. Free the real.